Ladies and gentlemen, can I please have your attention? I've just been handed an urgent and horrifying news story. And I need all of you to stop what you're doing and listen.
Papa! Keep the change, you filthy animal.
Alright, so today's movie review is for Holmes and Watson.
The great Sherlock Holmes!
And as always, I'll first do a quick non-spoiler review with a score before I get into the spoilers of the movie.
Ooh, that's a bingo!
So this is a 2018 comedy spin on Sherlock Holmes trying to save the Queen. This movie stars Will Ferrell as Sherlock Holmes and John C. Reilly as Dr. John Watson. The movie is rated PG-13 for some violence, a little bit of foul language, and some sexual suggestion. Score-wise for me, I kind of feel bad about this because I really do like when John C. Reilly and Will Ferrell team up to put movies together. But I guess everybody swings and misses sometimes, and that was kind of the case for me with this movie. I ended up giving this a score of a 3 on a 1 to 10 scale, which means I don't recommend this movie unless you happen to be watching it for free. The movie did have some funny moments, but in large part the movie was stagnant and had war and comedy. Now I will say, maybe sometimes with some movies, the more you watch it, the more funny it gets. So maybe, hopefully, for Will Ferrell and John C. Reilly, that's the case with this movie. But just watching it the first time, I couldn't give it better than a score of a 3. So that's the end of my non-spoiler review. From here on out, I'll be diving a little bit deeper and getting into more of the plot and more of the spoilers of the movie. So if you want that, I recommend turning this off now and coming back after you've seen the movie if you wish. Okay, so if you're still watching, plot-wise, the film follows both John C. Reilly and Will Ferrell as detectives trying to solve a case of stopping Professor James Moriarty in 4 days' time before he kills the Queen. Along the way, Holmes and Watson meet up with a couple American girls that they both fall for, and we're also introduced to Holmes's brother, played by Hugh Laurie, who you might remember from House. Holmes and Laurie have a kind of scanner psychic moment where they talk to each other, and his brother tells him that the person he's looking for is close to him. After Holmes incorrectly predicts Watson is the suspect and has him arrested, he reverses the decision and concludes his housekeeper is the actual perpetrator, who is found to be Moriarty's daughter. They end up saving the Queen with Watson throwing a bomb out one of the Titanic's windows, which lands on Moriarty's daughter's boat and blows up. So that's the basic plot of this movie. As far as what I liked about it, the first thing that caught my attention was the poster of the movie. I kind of thought it was catchy with Ferrell and Reilly showing the symbols of their name. Second, like I mentioned earlier, I did find parts of this movie funny. One of those parts is one they showed in the trailer that has Ferrell in disguise and confuses John C. Reilly.
You, what have you done with Sherlock?
Why, Watson? I never left. Amazing.
A couple more were when Holmes tells the girl he likes that she might be pregnant after only kissing him.
Make sure you get plenty of bed rest. There's a good chance you're pregnant.
I hope so.
And the running gag of men of the time being befuddled that women can be doctors.
Thank you, but I am the doctor.
Look, Watson, grief has scrambled her brain. She thinks she's a doctor. Fortunately, miss, there's a real doctor here who may help you.
Would you like some heroin?
What does doctor mean in America? If only there were a doctor present.
Clearly, he's had a severe blow to his occipital bone. He's concussed, and I am a doctor.
Finally, I thought it was really neat to have Billy Zane back in the Titanic. I thought that was a neat shot. Although, if you go by the dates at the beginning of the movie and the dates that the Titanic actually sunk, or the year I should say, they don't really match up that well. Who gave me a low score of this movie? The other attempts at comedy, which left the movie feeling stale, and in particular was the Wild Woman or the Feral Woman, whichever you want to call it, which just really seemed off and was kind of weird. Also, this movie kind of seemed like a slight Spaceball type spoof of Robert Downey Jr.'s Sherlock Holmes, in that they did a lot of slow motion stuff, and in particularly in Robert Downey Jr.'s Sherlock Holmes, they did a slow motion fight sequence where he's planning it out ahead of time, and they did that same exact thing here with Will Ferrell when he's fighting Braun Strowman, where he plans it out before he actually does it, and that really just kind of came off as kind of maybe a Spaceball type spoof kind of movie. Finally, with lots of movies nowadays, it feels like the trailers show too much and they don't leave enough meat on the bone for when you actually do see the movie. With this movie, that was the case. If you've seen the trailer, you've probably actually seen 90% of the movie. I know movie companies have a hard task of trying to sell a movie to get people in the theaters, but with this movie, they really put too much into the trailer, spoiling a lot of what could have been more fun had it been left out of the trailer. Case in point being the disguise part I mentioned earlier. So anyways, that's my review for this movie. I hope everybody enjoyed it, and if you did, please feel free to like and subscribe. In addition, like I did before, I'd like to see who can guess what movie the voice was from that played during my spoiler warning. A little hint, and actually a little trivia, I'll accept one of two movies. The real one or the fake one that everybody thinks is a real black and white movie. If you don't know what I mean, go ahead and look it up and you'll find out. Alright everybody, thank you.